Hello, everyone, and welcome to Live Healthy with Bev. I'm Bev Haynes, and today I'm in the kitchen mixing up a batch of salad dressing. Well, you know what? Can't even really call it salad dressing because we love it so much in my home. We use it on all kinds of things. We use this on our potatoes, we use it on our haystacks, we use it on so many different things. It's so versatile. And it's made with tahini, 100% sesame seeds. So let's get started. Got my mixing bowl here, got my spices, my other things over here. Let me walk you through this. When I'm making it, I've never used, any measurements, and I'm really bad at that. People say to me, you should make a cookbook, but I just don't like doing measurements. So it would just be too much work to have to figure all that stuff out. So today we're just gonna walk through it. I'm gonna kind of eyeball it, but we're gonna have some measurements for you on the screen by the time we get this edited into you. So we're starting off with tahini. Tahini is sesame seeds, a whole lot of sesame seeds ground up. Good source of protein, good potassium, there's calcium, there's iron in there. So a wonderful base for your salad and your salad dressing. I'm going to use around a quarter cup of it. Okay. That should do it beautifully. And it's just got that really beautiful camel kind of coloring. And because a lot of people say, using tahini, it's so bitter and stuff. Here's what I do to offset that bitterness. We're going to add some nut butter, and that's just going to take the edge off of it. I'll use a tablespoon to see how much. Let's see here. Yeah, you know what? A tablespoon should be just about right for this recipe. When I make it at home, I make vast quantities of it. So you might want to as well once you get to taste how wonderful this dressing really is. And it's so good for you. I mean, the tahini, I just told you what's all in there. Nuts, you've got all the good fats in the nuts. So lots of good stuff going on there, plus other vitamins and minerals. And we're going to add a little bit of miso. That is aged soybeans and a rice mixture. So I'm going to add probably a nice scoop. I've got 1 teaspoon here, but I've got it really, scooped up there. So it might be approaching a tablespoon as well. Let me use my spatula. At home, it's so funny because my husband is always like, why don't you use a spatula to get that last little bit of stuff out? He always uses the spatula. I'm digging in there with stuff. So learning to use a spatula. Very good. All right, so that's the miso. The miso is going to give it not a whole lot of flavor. It's going to add a little tiny bit of salt to it, saltiness, but it's going to give it that, have you heard the word umami? That's that really earthy kind of flavoring. So it's just going to add depth, really. That's all it's going to do. This is optional. You don't have to add the miso if you don't want to. I'm going to stir that around, get it nice and smooth looking. This is what it's looking like so far with the miso, the nut butter, and the tahini. And then we start adding the other things. So I'm going to add a little bit of water. Again, I don't measure the water. What you're wanting here is to make it to salad dressing consistency. So I don't add a whole lot of water because what I really want to add is the lemon juice. The lemon juice is going to just really kick up the flavor. But I'm adding the water first just so I can start to get this to a nice consistency, not quite so thick. And now I'm going to start adding in my lemon juice. This is freshly squeezed lemon juice. So buy your lemons. You've seen in another video I've done. Get your lemons from the store. Don't be buying that bottle stuff. It's got all kinds of, preservatives and stuff that you really don't want in your lemon juice when you can easily just buy it fresh. So we talked in another video about, storing your lemons and stuff. You might want to store them in the fridge in a sealable plastic bag because that's going to extend their shelf life. And also if you're using your lemons with the peel, you're going to want to wash that lemon under some hot water to get rid of the wax. There's a coating of wax that they put on there to increase the shelf life, and you don't want to be eating that if you're using the peel. Okay, so it's looking really nice, but still it's pretty globby. So we're going to want some more lemon juice. And we don't want it too tangy, so you also want to add, some more water as well. Okay, so I'm mixing that all up. I usually, when I'm at home, I don't use such a large bowl. I use one that's more, what's that called? Vertical and narrow, so I can really stir things well. But I couldn't find one for using for this recipe here. So just using this bowl and being very careful that I'm not splashing all over the place. Okay, so now it's taking on that nice runny consistency. Is a bit too runny right now, so I might add some more of the tahini, but let's start adding in the spices because they're going to start to thicken things up as well. Okay, so look at that, the color, beautiful, beautiful. All right, let's start adding. I'm going to start with the onion powder. And again, adding in to your liking, but this is half a teaspoon of the onion powder. I'm going to add in half a teaspoon of the garlic powder. I usually go back and add more even, so we'll taste it and see what it needs. Okay, and these were well-rounded half teaspoons. So let's just mix that in, and you can even use a whisk here, especially with the powders, to make sure they don't glob up, clump up. And so we've got that mixed in. We're going to add in some parsley. I love adding parsley to this, but I'm going to add the parsley to the palm of my hand, because here's what I'm going to do. Because the parsley flakes are large, I'm going to rub this through my fingers to release the aroma and all that nice dried goodness. Look at that. Yeah, just play with it. Rub it through your fingers. Or if you've got one of those little coffee grinders, you can put it in there. At home, that's what I've started doing. I put the parsley, I put the oregano or basil. This one though is the herbe de Provence. So I put this in there and just whisk it up really, grind it up really quickly. And I like to have a lot of herbs in this just to give it that really lovely, lovely flavoring. So there is more, okay, all right. So that was 2.5 teaspoons, let's say a teaspoon, a heaping teaspoon. I'm going to use some of the herbe de Provence. And again, maybe not so much, but that's like a heaping teaspoon, because we want this to have really nice flavor. And I'm going to put a little bit of dill in as well. I don't usually put the dill in, but I have it here, so why not? That's only going to add to its goodness, I'm sure. Okay. And we're going to want some salt as well. But yeah, see, it's thickening up already because of these additions of the spices, the herbs. Okay, and I'm gonna want, let's see, maybe 3/4 of a teaspoon, no, 3/4 of a half teaspoon of salt. I might need to go back and add some more. Again, it's just all about what you want it to taste like in the end, what you're comfortable with, what you enjoy. And we've got to make food that we enjoy, That's the only way to, we want to eat healthy, but some people don't know how to do that. And they mightn't make it so healthy and then they're discouraged. I mean, they mightn't make it so flavorful and they're discouraged. But just keep playing at it. Add the herbs, add the spices. Just play up your food. Okay, it's really looking pretty. It's got the herbs. See the coloration of it. It's still that nice light caramelly brown, but then it's got all the green specks of herbs happening. We want to add a little tiny bit of sweetener. So I've got some pure maple syrup here, just a little bit to take the edge off. There we go. And I like to use the maple syrup because, it's pure and natural. Okay. There we have it. So let's taste this. You know what? I need a tasting spoon. Hold on. I know I was going to bring some. Okay. That's very nice. It's always a good idea to wait for a little bit, because then after a while, you might be like, could use a little bit more salt or a little bit more this. Let me try it again. That's pretty nice. Usually I have to go back and, add and add, but this time around, it's perfectly fine. Perfectly fine, perfectly good consistency. And what you'll find when you put this in the fridge, you've used it, you put the rest in the fridge, it's going to thicken up in the fridge. And so the next time you use it, you might want to add a little bit more of the lemon juice or a little bit more water, depending on what you want, it to taste like. If you want it more tangy, definitely use the lemon juice. But you see, all these ingredients that I've used are just so good for you. The lemon juice, make sure you have some lemon juice and water first thing in the morning. That's going to just help to get rid of mucus and stuff in your system. Lemon juice, high in antioxidants, vitamin C, all that goodness right there. The nut butter, high in protein, good fats. The tahini, protein, good fats. So a lot of good things going on. Even the maple syrup. It's got the potassium and it's even got calcium happening in there. So, this is a good for you thing. All of these herbs, parsley, fantastic for you. Dill, onion, garlic, every single thing, good for you. Okay, so here we've got our beautiful salad with some spinach and kale and radishes and red pepper, red onion, a little bit of tofu feta going on. And now what we're going to do is we're going to drizzle our salad dressing on top of that. And believe me, this is so delicious. It's our favorite dressing now. As I said, we use it on so many different things. Look at that, just beautiful and totally, totally nutritious. All right, guys. So there you have it. Easy peasy, delicious, good for you. Enjoy it in good health, and I'll see you next time.